Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live, all the way from the Cape Town studios. My name is Luqman Shadrack. Thanks for joining us on Channel 347. Jummah Mubarak to you and your family. I hope you had a good one all around the country. The weather seems to be very different in some parts of the world, or of South Africa. I know it was hailing and storming in Johannesburg, and then the sun's now out. We had a little bit of rain in Cape Town. The sun's back out as well. So I hope you have plans for the weekend. But if you haven't, we've got you covered. It's What's On, and we've invited back in studio Fahiem Stellenboom. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Always a pleasure to be here. And I love your diplomatic reference to the weather.
I know,
the
right?
weather's crazy. I mean, I have to say, I'm very happy with the Cape Town weather at the moment. I like summer. I like the sun. I like, just the whole energy and vibe of the Western Cape, and Cape Town is different.
Yeah.
Apparently today in the CBD, for those who are not in this province, it went up to 40 degrees.
Oh gosh.
So yes,
that's
I mean,
hot.
yeah, absolutely. It could be like, it feels like we could be in a desert somewhere.
No, I know. Look, the weather's been extreme. Looks like it's going to be a very long summer ahead of us as well.
Yeah.
Speaking about crazy things, next week, Sona in Cape Town, and the roads are going to be crazy. We'll try and give you an update.
No, absolutely. That's another thing that is interesting, that the roads are permanently crazy
in Cape Town.
I mean, it's just, the semigration, I think we may have referred to it before, but that with half of Joburg moving to Cape Town and stuff, there's a lot more cars on the road. And of course, we had a bumper festive season.
Oh, absolutely. So, and it hasn't stopped.
No.
So talking about festive season, tell us what's on in the theatre world. What can we expect? What's happening at the moment?
So before talking, I'm going to speak specifically about theatre, but I wanted to say that you will also notice that in February and March, all the big events happen in the city.
True.
We've had a lot of the sports things going on already. They're kind of jamming. There was the Calabash concert at the Greenpoint Stadium.
Yes.
It was a nightmare to get in and out of town the other night.
Yeah. You still call it the Greenpoint Stadium.
Oh, yes.
The Cape Town Stadium. I got you.
No, it's the DLH.
Oh, the DHL.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I live in the area, so it'll stay with me. The Cape Town Stadium, absolutely. But there's a lot of activity and a lot of things going on during February and March, and it's very clever to maximize the weather with the outside events and those sort of things. It is good to be able to kind of get them, because once winter hits in Cape Town,
nothing happens.
Cape Town goes to sleep, you see.
I think so, yeah. We hibernate.
So having said that, of course, there's still a lot going on indoors with theatres. I am very excited about a ballet that's coming to the Baxter next week from the 7th to the 17th of February. And this is a ballet which it's just something different to what we know. It's Mzansi Ballet, so they're a Joburg-based company. They try to come to Cape Town once a year. They did a whole big thing with the music from ABBA last year. This year it's something a bit more serious, and they have got music composed by Wouter Kellerman, who's a South African Grammy Award winner.
Oh, yes.
There are two other musicians whose names I can't remember. They've got costumes by David Clowley. He's got this incredible company with dancers and some dancers from who are not South African as part of a exchange that he does with Cuba. So there's a couple of Cuban and South American dancers. So it's a very interesting combination and batch of dancers. But what is particularly interesting is that they have gone to something a little bit more related to pre-colonial South Africa, mythical sort of story that exists.
Nice.
It's called The Gold Rhino of Mapangubwe, and it exists as a tale, as a story. I'm just going to read a little bit about it because it's so beautifully put together. It says, it narrates a powerful storyline connecting the mythical world, ancient civilization, and modern society.
Wow.
So it brings back all those things of ancestry, where we come from the imposition and the forces of colonial powers, what people were like and lived like, and then kind of evokes and recalls that in this ballet. So it highlights like over 1,000-year-old lost civilization. Wow. These two young men, they discover this gold rhino, and as they're busy with the gold rhino, they call up the spirit
Okay.
of Mapangubwe and it's of this rhino, and they go on this journey and stuff. So it's a very interesting, and of course it will be very South African and African in its feeling, with costumes, as I said, by David Tlali, who's a big.
And the thing is, we don't have too many fables from South Africa. So this is a true South African fable.
Absolutely.
Bit of our history in it there as well, and expressing this.
And of course, I mean, you can think, if you think ballet, you think dance, you think theatre, to be able to evoke a spirit of an object or an ancestor of over 1,000 years ago, that lends itself to beautiful storytelling within itself.
So it should be fun, and that's playing from the?
That starts on the 7th till the 17th. It's 7:30 in the evening. There are 2 o'clock matinees. But again, it's just something different, and I thought I'll throw it in there.
Is it kids friendly?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. So you can take the entire family.
In fact, particularly, it's perfect for kids.
Okay.
I just kind of thought it's so nice to have a story which is African in its base and it's South African in its context, and then you have all these kind of South African connections to it. The Mzansi Ballet with about 19 dancers, so that's quite a big troupe to bring all the way. Costumes by a well-known South African costume, music by a Grammy winner.
Nice.
So a lot of big things to go with.
Brilliant.
Go with that, and we're looking forward to that. It should be very interesting.
Tickets can be booked via the website. Web tickets. Okay.
So all tickets for the Baxter Theatre, they can go straight to web tickets. The other thing, and I think a lesser-known fact that people should take advantage of, is if you're struggling to go online, or sort of often more senior people don't kind of prefer not to go online, they can go to Pick and Pay stores.
Okay.
Every Pick and Pay store, they have an outlet, so they can certainly go there. A second play, also at the Baxter, but again, I like these interesting themes. So this one is called Expelled.
Okay.
And it's interesting because it's a brand new play, and it's written by a woman called Gail Lowe, South African, but she lives abroad. And it's a family drama about a son who goes to a private school and becomes part of a viral video that gets sent on social media.
Okay. All right.
So the minute it goes live, the implications thereafter are horrendous.
Okay.
So it's this thing of mother and father dealing with a child who kind of is in matric. It's not even that much of a child, but I mean, he's still their child. And the consequences of social media. It's a thing that most of us today, we talk about it all the time.
And we battle with it. As
with
parents,
our kids, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the restrictions that parents try to put on kids with being on social media can be quite challenging sometimes as well, because let's face it, most kids take their cell phones to school right now, and they're in a different network. Okay, schools have a protection in place as well. However, if they're out and about and you've got data, then you're accessible to any type of network.
It also is it's a complex issue, because their peers do it. Everybody else is on social media, but the bottom line, fundamentally for me, is the fact that they are influenced by so much of what goes on in social media, and not all of it is good, and not all of it is I think relevant for and it's always not always age appropriate, and it just creates a fantasy world, which I think makes it more difficult for kids. Before I finish off with theatre, I'm going to move on to that's Expelled. Great cast, great team, and they also start on the 7th. And then to end off, I'm going to actually mention something going on in Johannesburg at the moment, and I want to encourage all the Joburg families and theatre lovers and music lovers to go and see The Sound of Music.
Oh, lovely.
This is a classic musical. It was on in Cape Town.
Right. South African production or the Australian?
South African production.
Nice.
Completely South African. One of my favorite sopranos, who normally sings opera, has now transgressed, and she's moved into singing this coveted role, which Julie Andrews made famous. My dad and I went and he sat and he sang through every song there. I had to apologize for the people around us who were very pleased that they did. But it's on at the Teatro de Monte Cassino. It's the perfect musical. It is an excellently put together musical by a Joburg director, Stephen Stead. It's got Brittany Smith in it. She sings the lead as Maria, but the mother, not superior, the
mother role,
role of the mother of the nunnery that she's in, Janelle Versace, magnificent role. So the the sound quality, all of it is fantastic. It's sold out with people literally clamoring for tickets in its long run over the festive season. It's on at the Teatro de Monte Cassino now, so I would encourage, take the family. There are matinee performances as well. It's worthwhile seeing, and I think their booking also is through web tickets.
Okay, I think that's great, and we've got our Joburg audience covered. We hopefully, if you'd like to let us know about certain productions happening in your part of the country, in Durban, in Port Elizabeth, in Bloemfontein, more than pleased to email me, lukman@hilaal.tv. Send me some of your suggestions, what you'd like us to cover, and we'll try and highlight those as well. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we chat about some of the markets happening in and around our beautiful city. If you haven't planned your weekend, maybe have a listen to this. We'll be back after the break. You are still watching Hilaal Live. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. It's more of a relaxed Friday afternoon than you, our viewers, normally used to. We have a What's On segment on a Friday where we let you know what's going on in our beautiful city. And if you have events that you'd like us to focus on, you're more than welcome to email me, lukman@hilaal.tv. Alternatively, you can WhatsApp us 07908525511. That's the WhatsApp number if you'd like to tell us about events that are happening in your side of the world, and we'll try and talk about them as well. Give us some information. We'll cover them on the show and let our audience know if they haven't planned for the weekend. Still in studio, Fahiem Stellenboom. We chatted about the theatre industry, theatre life, and now it's about the What's On markets, interesting events happening in and around the beautiful city of Cape Town. What do you have for us this week?
I think that I can never stress enough how important markets have become for various reasons. Obviously, for vendors, as we said, for people doing it as a side hustle, but just also for those of us who go to markets, who enjoy going to markets. And you kind of find a market whose culture or identity just fits with yours, and it works well. One such market is the new food truck
industry.
Markets, particularly the one at Burano School in Burka.
Oh yes.
I mean, it started out as a thought and idea that they wanted to do, and it coincided with the painting of the big flag, as you know, on the 2 to 3 different blocks up in Burka, Scottish Cliff, and it has just been so popular that they've extended week by week by week, that it's still on. I've spoken about it before on the show. We had Munir Parker, who sort of instrumental and kind of working very hard, you know, to kind of keep it exciting and to keep it relevant and to keep it interesting. But it continues to be well supported, particularly in the evening, and the locals go there, and I think that is always a good sign. You know, they've got Domino's going now, and last week we popped in. I popped in with my dad, and there was a group of 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys, no more than 12 years old, playing like sort of old style, you know. So it is obviously a good vibe, and families feel that they can go there. So highly recommended. And it's on until until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Most other markets don't do that, you know. So that's a good thing. Sadly, we would have had in studio today one of the vendors that I've met and really liked the stall, called Cape Malay House, but they disappointed us very badly by not coming in to do the interview. Their loss, but again, they do great food and they're part of that market. So that is an exclusively halal market, and they're great options. There's pizzas, there's the burgers, it's quick stuff, but there's really there's just, I think for me always it's about gees. It's about vibe. It's about making people feel welcome and making them feel at home and making them feel as if this is my community.
And I think that's the most important thing, that why people are drawn to markets. It's that community spirit, bumping into old friends and family that they haven't seen in ages. Burkab has such a rich culture of that as well. And I think it's the blend of people that stay in Burkab and people that come from you know, outside of Burkab and just gather there for a common interest. And come on, food just brings people together.
Absolutely.
So the variety is quite nice. Munir was very excited when he first spoke about this food truck initiative, and obviously having a theme around Palestine and our brothers and sisters in Gaza that are going through a lot. The mural is just beautiful, so it overlooks this food truck market.
In fact, the side wall of Burhanul is amazing because they give you the timeline as well.
Oh,
Of,
yes.
sort of from 48, maybe even before that, if I'm not mistaken. They take you through the timeline, that gives you, which is just, it's incredible. And the more I drive through Burkap, the more I see pictures, people painting flags and various things.
Well, not just Burkap. If you drive in the Lansdowne area, in the Rylands area where I stay, there's people that are painting their walls. And obviously highlighting the plight of our brothers and sisters in Gaza. And I know the city has painted over one or two of...
they haven't done that in Burkap.
No, they haven't.
They better do. Anyway, so that's a great market, and that's it. It goes till 10 o'clock on both Friday, Saturday, and I think even Sunday evening. So it's the whole weekend, and it's, as I said, great to visit. You can sit there for 5-10 minutes, and you will surely bump into somebody that you know. So that is one tour that I can highly recommend. One, it is a popular one, and again, it's a whole different vibe. It's Under the Tree, which takes place in Constantia.
Yes.
It's very popular. It's usually, I think, once a month. I don't think it's every week. But again, perfect for gifts and perfect to walk around, especially out in the open. And they're solid. They've been going for a while. They do things like, and I think that this is what they will have this Sunday, where they have some organization like the SPCA where people can adopt a dog. I know dogs are not necessarily a thing that we have in Muslim families, etc. But it is something that relates to communities again. So no matter whether you're in Burkap or Constantia or Hout Bay, where I'm going to after this, the bottom line still is, it brings us back to this point of you find your community and you find that market that kind of, the vendors sell the sort of things that you like and that you want and what you need and that appeals to you. And you have your choice to make. The Hout Bay market again is back. It's on this weekend.
Lovely.
4th, yes, which is lovely. It goes from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And again, it's that thing of you can get bespoke pieces of art, and that's for me. It's or when you can get. The Milnerton market still goes every weekend. For how long? And there again, it's a very different vibe. I mean, I love walking around there because the junk that you can pick up, is just, and sometimes it's precious for a collection that you might have.
As they say, one man's treasure is another man's treasure.
Absolutely.
That's one of the markets that, that's been there for a while, like the Muizenberg one as well. That's been there for a while. One of the ones I drove past a couple of weeks ago was the one in Plumstead. It's like a boot sale that they have.
Yes, that's right.
And it's so busy.
This is the thing. This is what I'm saying to you. I think that people like the idea. I suppose, with our current economic climate, everybody's trying to kind of go and, on a budget and kind of look for where they can get a special and whatever. But it's also just that it's relaxing and you're able to walk around and you're able to be with your family and you're within proximity of each other and you can buy an ice cream or you can buy candy floss or you can buy a roti from an auntie. It's all right there while you kind of, often you buy what you don't need.
For sure.
But
that's always the case.
But it's fine. I think retail therapy is always very good for us. Yeah.
But what I like is that most of the vendors now at these markets are now have SnapScan or they've got a card machine. So you don't have to carry cash. Don't worry about that. You can pay with your card, which is not always a good thing because you don't feel it going off your account. But also, I've gone into these markets and I've bumped into people that I haven't seen for absolute ages. So as much as it's a spending opportunity, it's also a gathering of communities.
I think this is, again, feeds very much into our point about why markets have become so... And look, markets have always been relatively big, but there's so many more of them creating opportunities. And I think this is also what listeners and viewers and people should be taking into account, is that there's also a business opportunity for you.
That's it.
And as again, with our current economic climate, people can do with these side hustles and help themselves along. So there are options. If you are whatever neighborhood you are living in, check out, be part of a WhatsApp group. I think these days every neighborhood have that WhatsApp group.
True.
And kind of, look out for those sort of things because they happen in lots of other communities.
Yeah, and I think coming up to Ramadan now, you're going to have quite a few markets coming up. I know the radio stations in Cape Town have. I think they had one last weekend. Various businesses also, NGOs, they also have these type of markets. They use it as an opportunity to raise funds because those funds are then used throughout the year to sustain some of their projects.
Absolutely. And also I think, and I mean, the best thing again, and what is testament to their success is the fact that they are so well supported.
True.
So these markets, I was going to say with Ramadan about, literally being around the corner.
Absolutely.
That we will have more of these markets, and people should look out for them, support them. And if you want to be a vendor at these big markets, as you said, some of the radio stations have them. Then it's look out. It might be too late now, but I mean, seize the opportunities.
That's another thing to also do with your kids. You could
absolutely,
encourage them to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Get a couple of products together, put up a table, a gazebo, because it's very hot in Cape Town.
Yes.
And then just earn some, and it's a way to spend a day with your kids as well. Something different. Fahiem, thanks so much. Really a pleasure. Always looking forward to some of the great stuff you bring to our audience. We're looking forward to next week's one, inshallah. I know we have Sona, but we probably will have our regular Friday, but we'll confirm. But our listener, our viewer, if you are interested in highlighting some of your events, send me an email, lukman@hilaal.tv, and I'll definitely put that up on the screen and discuss with Fahiem. Fahiem, jazakallah so much. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure. Wa alaikum salam.
And that's how we end What's On, the first half of our program Hilaal Live on a Friday. Coming up after the break, we add a new section called the Sports Desk, and we are going to speak to Firoz Sheikh, who is our sports analyst, and he's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve, so do look out for that. You are still watching Hilaal Live.